All right, so I'm looking at Japan model for a reverse required minimum distribution scenario, the reverse RMDs. Now, this isn't required. This is just, hold on a second. Again, this isn't required. It's just using the premise of the RMD numbers where you have to take an increasing percentage of your portfolio each and every year once you hit 72. We're reversing that. We're saying we're going to take a X percentage and reduce that each and every year, and you don't have to wait till you're 72. But the question is, if you follow this channel, I'm just worried about Japan. I'm worried about if we come into a Japan light or Japan-ish scenario, that's the flummox. That's what flummox? Yeah, I think that's the right word. That me more than anything. And I can't wait to get this book done. Last year I didn't write any books. I was too busy trying to get my fiction piece done, and I frankly don't like writing fiction out. So it's done. I'll get it out there. I like it. I like the book, but I like doing this better. It's took a year to figure that out, but I'm okay with that. Sad thing is, you come up with these great story ideas, and then you're like, when it comes down to putting pen to paper, you're like that's not very. It's just not fun. It never comes out the way you anticipated. I don't know how these writers do it, but hey, it doesn't matter. All right, so what's happening here is I'm using Daniel Kuhlebert's spreadsheets over at 55e.co, and he make up his mind if he wants to, if he's coming or going. All right, so anyway, so the one that we're using here is a paid spreadsheet, and I don't think he charges that much, but bucket strategy, but lots of free spreadsheets for you to use too. In fact, look at this. We got taxes by state, and if we look over here, I was in Ohio, and I just basically cut and pasted these. I went to my spreadsheet of best counties in Ohio. Well, not best, but for small towns. I'm looking for counties that got over 50,000 people that voted heavily for Trumpster. And here's Ashland County. I don't know where that is. And then look at that. The median home value is $125,000 with a median effective tax rate of 1.18. So not so bad. Not so bad. I don't know where Ashland County, Ohio is, but you can see I just started looking at it. Here we got Fairfield County. In Fairfield County, the median home value is 173 with a median or an effective property tax of 1.36. Anyway, I can't wait to work on that. That's fun. All right, so that's my best small towns in America. And you can get all that. I think you get that one for free. Yeah, taxes by state right there, man. All right, so let's go back to the bucket. All right, so what's happening here? We're starting 1989. In the first year, we got 30,000 sitting in, one second. We got 30,000, we have 100,000 bucks. We're putting 30,000 in cash. This is short-term bonds of Japan, and we're putting 70,000 in Nikkei. All right, so a 70-30 portfolio. We're taking 12% the first year, then we're reducing it by 0.2% or 20 basis points every year thereafter. All right, and we're going to let's withdraw at the end. So basically, here we go. All right. So what's happening is we're going to take the money out of stocks when the markets are in the black. We're going to take the money out of bonds when the markets are in the red. I hope that makes sense. So the first year, we got $30,000. We made 2.4%. So at the end of that year, we had $30,714. The first year in stocks, we had $70,000. We made 29%, which left us with around 90,300 or so. And so if you take 90,300 plus a 30,714, we have about 120,000 in there. We times 12% by 120 by 12%, and that gives us right there the amount we're withdrawing. But because the stocks are in the black, we're withdrawing it solely from the stocks. So after we withdraw that amount, it leaves us with 70,000 in stocks, 30,000 in bonds. Hope that makes sense. All right. So the next year, the bonds are up 4.2%, but the stocks got destroyed, man, destroyed. So we take our bonds are up to 32,000 bucks. The stocks are down to 46,452. So we times that by 11.8%, and we get a distribution amount of that right there. All right, hope that makes sense. So again, what we're doing is we're saying at the end of the year, how much is the account worth? Take that by your reverse RMD, in this case is 11.8, and because the stocks are in the red, the bonds are in the black, we're going to take it from the bonds. Hope that makes sense. All right, so here we take 14,000, then we're taking 9,000, but because again, now the markets are down and we got down market again, our bonds, our stocks are only worth 44,000 at this stage because we took 9,000 out. The bonds are only worth 22,000. Now, 22,000 did grow at 5.6%, so that's good. Stocks got dumped again, so it, we're taking 11.6% of a portfolio that's not worth very much. In fact, I think, if memory serves, we can hold on a sec. We can figure out exactly what our balance was at the end of this year by just taking this withdrawal amount, divide that by 11.6 or 0.116, which is the reverse RMD number, and that was 68,785, and we times that by 11.6, which gives us right here, exact 7,976, which leaves us with $60,000 in the portfolio. So now we're taking that by 11.4, and that's how it works. So essentially what's going to happen is by the time you can see, because we're in a market chaos, like of unseen proportions, by the time that, actually, I wonder if I can make this, well, let me just look here. Now we're out of bonds, and what year is this? 2002. We got. I mean, look, we're not taking very much out. We're taking $2,500 out. It's just we're doomed, man. I mean, if we go into a Japan-like scenario, we're just doomed. There's no other way around that. It doesn't matter. There's nothing you can do about it. Essentially, what's happening here is we're still going to have some money because we're always taking a percentage off, but it's just not much. We're doomed. I mean, that's just all there is to it. So if we go back to Japan, we say we don't want to do the reverse RMD. We'll just do inflation adjusted, 5% a year. We're running out of money. Here we ran out of money in 2001. That's 11 years, and that's with starting the first year in 1989 in the positive. You can do 4%, and this is my thing: is that there's nothing you could have done. 4% a year. And here we're running out of money in 2002. We do 3%. Excuse me. COVID, 3%, and you're doomed. And we're running out of money in 2007. Let's do 2%. But I mean, it's 2%. Who cares? I'm just like, what? And again, and here you ran out of money in 2012. I mean, the point being is and this is starting in 1989. If we started in 1990, and we did 4% a year, we're running out of money in 2002. It's just, you're doomed, man. So what if we did, so this is where I'm going. I'm saying, well, what if, so the reverse RMDs didn't work, and the 4% rule didn't work. What if we do, hell, we can make it, 60-40 and try to make it, the 4% rule is 60-40, which is kind of what that's based on. And you run out of money again in 2004. There's no escape, man. So at the end of the day, we're going to do starting amount $30,000 and $70,000. And then what we're going to do, I'm going to say, okay, well, what if we don't adjust it for inflation? What if we do 7,000 a year, not adjusted for inflation? Because remember, Japan, the inflation rates were going low. They had deflation for many of these years. And you can see that by the rate of return of the bonds. But here, we're doomed too. If we go into Japan, there's just nothing you can do. Well, if we did 5,000 a year, not adjusted for inflation. And so there's nothing. You see what I'm saying? You're screwed. You're running out of money. 4,000. But it's 4,000 a year, not adjusted for inflation. There's just nothing you can do. There's no escape. 2005. That's my concern. If we go to a Japan, there's just nothing you can do. You can do the guardrails all you want, but what am I trying to say here? If we go to a Japan economy, you better be prepared to tighten your belts. One of the reasons I suggest you pay the taxes now is you pay the taxes while the getting gets good. That doesn't mean you put everything to Roth just willy-nilly, but that's my concern, man. If we go to a Japan economy, all the financial planning in the world doesn't mean anything. And there's just no way that you can escape it. You will run out of money. Oh, wait, you know how I didn't run out of money? Want to take a guess? What didn't run out of money if you went to a Japan economy? If you did a single premium income annuity. Isn't that interesting? But income annuities are bad. Not if you're into Japan. Let's do one other thing here. Let's try something else. Let's do it all in short-term bonds. So let me just show you what the rates on short-term bonds are. 4.2, 5.6, 4 point, like not much, but that's better than losing all that. Let's just put 100% in the short-term bonds. We're going to put 100% in here. And we're going to put nut and honey in there. And we're going to take 5,000 a year out. And we're going to adjust it for inflation. All right, so let's see what happens. Ran out of money in 2008. That's not so bad. Ran out of money in 2008 with low inflation. See, that's the issue. Inflation. Well, actually, I should say, I'm using the U.S. inflation rates of 5.4. So the U.S. inflation rates were much, much higher than the Japan bond rate. So if you look at this, we start with $100,000. We made 4.2%. 5,000, I should say. Hold on a second. This should 5,000 times 1.054. Yeah, right there. 5270. So I'm using U.S. inflation, which I'm doing that deliberately. I'm using the Japan investments, which are horrible, with U.S. inflation rates, which are much higher than Japan. And you look at that. You didn't run out of money until 2008. You were golden for 18 years. That's not bad, man. That's with 5% adjusted with inflation. So what if we did 6,000 without any inflation adjustments? Fixed. So here, if we did a 6,000 a year fixed, this lasts until 2010. That's still 20 years. So let's do a reverse RMD and see how that works. And we're going to start with 12%. That might be too high, but let's see, shall we? It lasted until, yeah, see, it's just not, it's just nothing. You're only taking 2,000 a year. So basically, right there is kind of 1990. Yeah, that doesn't make me happy. Let's try with 10%. All right, so 10%, you're taking, and see, it's just you're getting the problem with reverse RMD method is on the front end of retire. If you're not making enough income here to offset the significant amount you're taking out the front end, by the time 10 years are going by here, you're down to $3,800. That's just too little. So let's do 8% reverse RMD. Yeah, it's still too little. Look at that, 20. All right, so that didn't work. So I like the idea of 6,000 fixed. Let's make it 8,000 fixed. How long does that last? 2004. So 14 years. All right, let's make it 7,000. That will last till 2007. 17 years. Let's go back to 6,000 again. All right, so 2010 is when it ran out. 20 years. All right, 21 years. 21 years. All right, so you see where I'm going with this. Now, the problem, of course, is no one knew in 1989. In fact, I'm reading Jurassic Park right now. And in Jurassic Park, Michael Crichton, who had written it, talked about the investors of the guy in Jurassic Park were all Japanese because they had all the money. They had all the money in the world. So obviously that was written in the late 80s. Kind of cracks me up because Japan, no one knew back then that Japan was going to go through the chaos it did. So no one had the foresight to put all their money into bonds initially and just leave it there. And that's the challenge we have to think is, look, it's a tough one. You're like, I want to go all bonds. You're like, really? I can't recommend that. But I get it. I mean, if you want all in bonds in Japan, if you happen to time it right, you're good. But that's just I just think at the end of the day, just everything revolves around spending, man, and you got to be prepared to tighten your belt if things get tough. Because if we go to a Japan, no one's going to go all bonds. I shouldn't say no one, but some people will right before they hit retirement. I don't have any qualm with that. But there's only so much you can do, my friends. And if you go all in bonds and you're still working, I don't think that's a good move. Anyway, it's a conundrum. There's no answer, and a lot of you engineer types want the answer, and there is none. if the markets go south, we're in a world of hurt. That's just a fact. All right. Well, I'd love to hear your thoughts. We'll see you